you are? It's just a small part of your entire world.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I mean, the same thing where I live, in Alberni, everybody knows that I'm the pot guy, so to speak, in the town. But I mean, I'm a member of the golf club, I fly remote control airplanes, and I'm, you know, I'm involved with Port Alberni Toy Run. I mean, we're all over the community doing all kinds of things. I'm a good personal friend of the mayor's. Actually, we do stuff in the toy run together. You know, I talk to him, I smoke weed, he doesn't care, it's all good. So yeah, people should, medical pot is legal in this country, there's no reason to hide your usage or any other thing. Stand up, be loud, be proud.
But does your permit allow you to smoke outside your restaurant permit? Sure, yeah.
I can smoke pot anywhere people can smoke cigarettes at this time right now. They haven't changed that at all. I'm just very respectful if there's kids around, or, you know, I try to stand downwind of people, get out of the way, you know, I don't push it on people, but obviously as soon as I walk inside, I reek. Hey, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't consider it a bad smell.
Here's something I want to put to you, because I can do this in a neutral way rather than say this in the media. You think people exploit their permits and grow more than they need to so they can sell it?
I think some people do. I don't think so much as growing more than they're allowed to, but they might have some extra.
If they're ill, they probably don't have your regular. I'm not opposed to them selling the extra, but my impression is probably lots of people
police here
grow
are
more than they
complaining about
require.
that reason, but
I believe that there's, you know.
that is happening now. Police, it was in the paper today, and we believe everything.
Well, yeah, that's why.
Well, it's always, the police always say, and they don't ask the other side of the, who else, you know, they don't ask the growers what we say, right? But I always keep, I couldn't expand my number of plants simply because A, I don't have the space, or B, the hydro, I'm maxed out. So I can't add any more lamps, and I don't really have the room. So I'm still within my 35 plant limit. Now I've grown pot for almost 30 years, not all legally. And I can assure you, 30 plants in dirt, large plants in the house, is a lot to look after. If you know how to grow weed, I mean, it's a huge time-consuming task. It can take 5 to 7 hours a day. So to grow really high-end pot, you know, again, some people, I know of some people who are selling a little bit. Sure they are, because they're offsetting their hydro bills. Because we don't get any help from the government with no tax rebate, or, you know, and the hydro just keeps going up and up and up. Now we got a 2-tiered system here in BC. My hydro bill is close to $300 a month.
Medicinal marijuana.
Can you tell me, like on the permit, does it tell you how much pot you can grow?
Oh yes, 35 plants. It's based on how many grams per day. They have a formula at Health Canada, so if you're at 5 grams per day, you would have 25 plants. 7 grams per day is 35, 10 would be 50.
So that sounds like a lot of plants to me, but maybe I just don't.
Well, you know, it's not, because they don't really allow for cloning and for crop failure and these other things, and all the other hardships that prevail any gardener. So sometimes it is, and actually in the case it isn't.
When you're going to your doctor, how do you determine the amount that you might need?
I think it's more, you tell your doctor, explain to him how much you use. So I think putting in for 5 grams a day is reasonable. You could, don't say, I don't always use 5 grams per day, but sometimes I feel I might have to, or when I'm out of town, I take a little extra with me. You know, there's those types of things to consider.
Because I don't want to underdo it. I basically make go through a quarter a year, just for stress situations. But you know, I don't want them restricting me to that either.
Yeah.
Well, you have to allow for plant management too. If you get too many males and you're seeding, then you have to.
Right. Yeah, if you're growing from seed as opposed to clone too.
Basically, 5 grams a day is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it is.
I'll find out what strain works for it. There's some plants involved in that too.
Yeah, well, that's from personal experimentation. You know, if you could find pot, and actually from a reputable person who knows exactly what that strain is, that can help. Yeah, or if you're dealing usually with compassion clubs, they'll have a variety of weeds, and you can try. It's a good place to try some different types to find out what's works best.
I was going to ask, like, with your exemption, is there any protection I can get from my employment? Like, a lot of places have anti-drug policies, which
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I'm not really sure about that. I think you would probably have to go through courts and have a huge court case, and it would be precedent setting, I believe. I haven't heard anything to that yet.
Okay.
There's that Walmart case right now.
Is there?
The Walmart case down in the States.
Oh, in the States, yes. There's the Walmart case in the States is one coming up. That's right.
Like, wasn't there a professor in Carleton or somewhere in Ontario who got a license and he got the university to provide him space?
They put a smoking room in for
smoking
him,
room.
but I don't believe they were talking about terminating his employment.
No, they were, as a matter of fact, helping him.
Yeah, they just provided him with a smoking area. Absolutely, yeah. Time, I guess. Yeah.
I've got a question.
One more question.
I was looking up on the internet, they're showing you can legally grow for someone if you get licensed as a grower through the government of Canada.
Yeah, designated grower, yes.
Yeah, and there's like different diseases of certain amounts that you can grow. For instance, glaucoma, you can grow unlimited if it's an extreme case. What do you
No.
not unlimited. The number of plants you can prescribe goes up to a certain amount, but for glaucoma, I know it's the highest amount. At least that's what
Not necessarily. It would be dependent on what the person you're growing for, what they were prescribed their daily limit is. It would still be the same formula.
So what are you supposed to do with all of that extra? Like legally, what are they expecting you to do?
I'm sure you can find something to do.
I'm just asking because when I looked, I didn't see any guidelines or guidelines.
I've never heard of any actually.
Everything up until
You should drop it off at our compassion club.
Yeah, take it to a compassion club if you're real concerned about it. It can always be destroyed by fire. Well, thanks very much.